What's good, fam? Agent O here with another action figure review, and today I have the SH Figuarts War Machine Mark III from the Captain America Civil War movie. Was finally able to get this figure in the aftermarket because I just didn't get it when I was up for pre-order. So yeah, this is the box. It's the box art, you know, standard SH Figuart fare. Where you can't see the figure anymore in the blast mold. So whatever, let's get to the review and stop looking at a cardboard box. So here's Rhodey in the third iteration of the War Machine armor, and you know, right off the bat I do like the sculpt. I mean, that's really the main reason why I think you buy these Iron Man figures, because they've kind of honed they kind of honed the articulation and the engineering to the point where they kind of don't really need to do anything new with these figures. So if you're buying them at this point, you're just kind of buying them because of the different design aesthetics that they've applied to each one of these armors every time a new movie comes out. So this one's no different. I like how he's kind of slim but bulky, tanky at the same time. So that's kind of why I was like, yo, I got to get this War Machine, this version of War Machine, because I think it combines the best design aspects of both the War Machine Mark I from Iron Man 2 and the Mark II from what is it, Age of Ultron. Or, you know, the Iron Patriot armor, whichever one you want to call it. But I like how it kind of marriages both of those things. And if you're looking for a movie accurate War Machine, this kind of isn't it. It's for the most part it is. It's just missing some triangular decals here and here and here and here and stuff. So, but I mean, you can still see like the detail from like his kill count on his chest, and the U.S. Air Force, or their version of it, on the shoulder pad. And that's all that was, I think, on the armor in the movie. And the 003 to tell you which number suit it is, as if you couldn't figure that out on your own just from the design of it. But yeah, I mean, I like the look. Once again, loads and loads of detail on this guy. Lots of paneling and rivets, and, you know, just armor plating. I like I've always dug the use of the matte finish for the gunmetal grays, and, you know, the silver has a little bit of a sheen, but it's still matte. I do dig that. I do like that very much. I like it because it's a different contrast to the red and gold shiny vac metal look from the, you know, really shiny metal look on the Iron Man figure. So, you know, this definitely gives him more of a military look. It's more industrial, which I dig. And I like how the suits are starting to look more like the comics, in terms of, you know, showing us, like, you know, the essence of musculature, like on the biceps and whatnot. So I do dig that. I like how they're also using translucent plastic on the eyes and on the unibeam chest piece. Kind of gives it a little bit of a different look when the light bounces off of it. My light might be a little too bright for this camera. I think I set the exposure a little too high, but I'll make sure to include some photos. But, you know, I don't have any complaints with the look of this guy. He looks really damn good, and I like what I see. So I guess I'll just move on to the articulation, because I really don't have anything else to really add to the look of this this character. So, you know, starting with the head, it's always on a ball joint as usual. I'm going to kind of breeze through this. There's a lot of gappage in there. It's enough that it's very noticeable. If that annoys you, I don't know what to tell you. But I kind of for this, I kind of am gonna let it go for this particular figure, just because you have gappage for the sake of range of motion, because he's got a lot of it. As you can see, you can rotate his head quite a bit. I think they could have, if they really wanted to, they could have. You could have still had just this much amount of range of motion and still reduce the range of motion in the base of the neck by adding more plastics to fill in that gap, and it still would have been okay. His shoulder pads always on a swivel, and the little shoulder little deltoid up at the top is kind of it's colored and textured and whatnot, so it blends in with the rest of the figure. And you can raise his arms about that high. Shoulders are on a ball joint, and you can even pull out the shoulders now to increase just to get more range of motion, just like you can with previous Iron Man figures and War Machine figures. Arm is on a double elbow, so you got a whole lot of bend there, and the sculpt doesn't get in the way at all. Hand is on a ball joint, so you can get rotation and you can get some bend. You have a diaphragm joint, which doesn't give you a whole lot of movement. Like, you can go forward that much, and you can go further back a lot more, so you can get those. That combined with the neck articulation, you can get some good flying poses out of this figure. So it's better more for bending his backwards more than forward. He does have a torso swivel. I don't know why this is separate in this area, because it doesn't really add to the articulation at all. I don't really know why it is. They could have just left it all one piece if they wanted to, but it is what it is, and I'm not going to question why they do what they do with their engineering. These panels, these hip armor panels, I kind of wish they went up a bit more to allow for more movement for the legs at the hip. They're kind of just stuck there, and this isn't really a whole lot of give. It's like barely just enough. But, we know they've done swivels where they've gotten a lot more movement out of them, so I don't know why they didn't do that in this case. But moving down to the legs, of course, it's on that Type 1 joint, so it's on the T swivel hip, and the thigh swivel. Actually, I don't think it has one. You just kind of rotate the leg at the thigh, and that kind of doubles as the thigh swivel. But he does have that extra bit of articulation at the ball joint, as you can see, to allow you to do, it gives you more clearance, so you can get his legs up there higher. That coupled with the panel being the side panel, the hip panel being able to move. So he does have that going for him. So if you want to do the 3-point superhero landing stance, you can do that. His knees, of course, ball jointed knees, lots of range of motion, and I do like how the knees have detailing and texture on them too as well, to make it blend in with the figure. And with the feet, I tried pulling them down, and I couldn't get these to come down, so I don't think they do, in order to get a bit more range of motion. But the back panel does move, so you can bend his feet. You can bend his feet back farther, so you can get them back farther about that much, and then you can flip this armor piece on his foot, so you can bend it up a bit more. And he does have the toe point. You want to flip this up to get more movement on the toe point. But the joints are pretty firm on this figure, at least on mine. I don't know about anybody else's, but joints are really tight, which is fine with me. I'd rather have them more tight than loose. And, of course, he's got ankle rockage. And armor pieces on the side of the feet don't really get in the way of the ankle, so you can get some pretty good twisting on the ankle pivot. So yeah, I mean, the articulation, it's not bad. It could be better. I tried to do the 3-point stance with this figure, and I couldn't really get it the way I wanted it because of the lack of torso articulation, but I'll probably try again, and if I do, then I'll just show a picture of it so that you can do it. But that's, I mean, it's, oh, I also forgot, I need to mention the gun. The gun's a little different because usually in the previous Figuart toys, you were able to move the gun around and it had a lot of range of motion because it was on like swivel and ball joints and stuff. This time it's just on swivels, and you just pull it out of its housing. It's tucked in there nicely, and you pull it out and you just bend it up like this. Now the instructions, I did look at the instructions, and it did say like this is where you put it, but I prefer it actually up here myself. It's up to you. You can do both. You can do either or, but the gun is also on a swivel joint on its base, so you can rotate it around if you need to. So you can have it. You can have them looking one way and have the gun pointing another way. So to do if you're doing shots and poses and stuff like that. But it's pretty tight, and the joints are pretty tight on this, and it functions for what you need it to do. But that's pretty much it for articulation. There really isn't anything else. It's just like all the other Iron Man figures you've bought. So I do want to move on to the accessories. And of course, with accessories, he comes with, your standard set of effect pieces. Once again, if you've bought an Iron Man figure from Figuarts in the past, you've kind of already know what you're getting with these accessories. You've got boost rocket pieces, you got the rocket pieces for the hands, you have the repulsor blast pieces for the hands as well, and you have your effect piece for the gun. It's molded a little differently because the gun is different this time around. And of course you have your standard set of hands for your Figuarts. For the Iron Man, you have your palm open hands to act like he's about to shoot his repulsor blast. You have the relaxed posed hands, and they're all sculpted very nicely. You can't move the hand guard like you could on the other ones in the past. He's got his holding things hands, which is different from other Iron Man figures because he actually has an object that he holds. And then you have the hands for the repulsor blast effect as usual. So there's that. And you have this one extra accessory, his beat 'em stick. Beat 'em stick is pretty nicely detailed as usual. I mean, forgive me if I sound bored, but I can't really find anything to nitpick with this figure. I do have some nitpicks that I'll get to later with this figure, but as far as like the execution, I don't really have anything bad to say about it. They used a nice, shiny red, vibrant red paint for the inside, for the parts that looked like they were glowing in the movie. I like this as a weapon and as an accessory. I just never understood why he had it in the movie. He's War Machine. What would he be using stuff to beat you with? He would just shoot you with his superior, firepower. But it's whatever. It's a movie. And he didn't really even use it in the movie. It got like destroyed almost as soon as he got it out to use on Cap and the rest of the gang. So that's pretty much it. Because I really don't have anything to say because I've reviewed most of these Iron Man toys and they're all pretty much they're all pretty similar. It's just they're all pretty samey because they've worked out, they've engineered a figure that doesn't really need any new tweaks. I do not understand why, once again, this is a Tamashii Web Exclusive. It really shouldn't be. It should just be a standard figure that you can get, so that you're not paying an exorbitant aftermarket price, like I almost did. I ended up getting this figure for about $90 aftermarket. I've seen it over $140 online on online stores, not even on eBay. On eBay, I've seen it about that much too, but on stores that are still carrying this figure in their stock, I saw it skyrocket to $143, and there's no need for that. It's almost as high, if not as high, as the Iron Man, the War Machine Mark 1, which came out, how many years ago. How this figure got this expensive when even the Mark 2 War Machine isn't even as expensive as this figure, and that came out before this one. So I guess it's just greed, as usual, is what's playing the factor in this. Yeah, I find that absurd, because it's not like there's that many War Machine fans out there for this figure to cost that much. And like I was saying earlier about the sameness with these particular Iron Man toys, there were things they could have done with this figure, accessory wise and content wise, that would have set it apart from the other figures, the other Iron Man figures, and it would have actually given you more of an incentive to get this guy. In the film, he has this. He did this. He has these extra. He has extra ammo and guns. The part in the film where his forearms open up and there's like 2 extra guns in there, and his chest, the top chest, the silver parts on his chest flip open and there's missiles in there. On his right side shoulder, missiles pop out of there, and it looked really cool. And it would have been cool if Figuarts had given us some of those accessories, like maybe a way to switch out the forearms for the other pieces, for the other forearms with the weapons already displayed, open and out, ready to fire, and maybe a different chest piece, or not even a chest piece, just these different shoulder pieces could have been swapped out at the top, and then you could have substituted the open portions with the weapons sticking out of them, just so that this is a little different from the other Iron Man figures. And it would have it would have had me like way more excited to get this guy, because I only got it because I want it as part of my collection, and I always want the best looking versions of these suits in my collection when I do pictures and stuff, posing the Avengers with each other or fighting enemies and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of, I like what I got, but at the same time I feel really meh about this toy, just because I feel like I've already gotten this toy, which I kind of already have. With the previous Mark War Machine figure. So that's really gonna pretty much do it. I don't really have anything else to add, so just leave your constructive criticism, your congratulations, and your comments in the comment section. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next review, which should hopefully be coming up soon, because I think the Street Fighter figures are supposed to be coming out, and I can't wait to get those. So I am Agent O, and I'm out. Peace.